So, from your perspective, what's with gun people's fascination, obsession with the zombie apocalypse?
That's such a good question because I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's really not something I'm down with.
Well, so I have to go ahead and put this out there. I'm a huge Walking Dead fan.
I watched The Walking Dead, and I think that's where it ends for me.
It's like fantasy football for gun enthusiasts that are like, you know what I'm saying?
It's like they're soulless.
Yeah.
So it's like reactive targets.
It's like, dude, I just want to be able to like rip down this entire like, landscape with my scar heavy.
Their heads explode and all sorts of stuff.
It's like hunting stumbling hogs. Like a bunch of moving, exploding targets that just kind of go slow.
I think it's a valid excuse to dive into the whole gun setup gear, how you're gonna pack out.
I think it's just that idea of how would I act in this situation. You know, to be prepared for any disaster, you kind of have to go through what I do. When you walk into a place, you look at where the exits are. That kind of idea of what am I gonna do if everything goes to shit, so to speak.
I would like to believe, being an optimist, that it is a way for individuals to convince their significant others of the importance of buying more firearms. I don't know. That's like my best guess. I don't really get it.
No, it's healthy. It's completely healthy. I'm gonna start getting zombie like emojis sent to me on my phone.
Anyone who's been following me for some time knows I'm a big Walking Dead fan. Yeah, I know ever since Negan showed up, it's been a bit of a bore. The whole greaser leather jacket wearing demigod bit gets old real quick, and we're all waiting for him to die. However, every episode I watch, I always ask myself, what weapon would I carry if I were in that situation? In my opinion, Rick's Colt Python is a moronic decision. Screw nostalgia. I'd easily take a Glock 19 over a Colt Python. I can already hear but the revolver is so reliable, tactical white knights losing their minds. If you think I'm gonna walk around post-apocalyptic America, relegated to 6 shots and a few of your granddaddy speed loaders, you're out of your damn mind. This ain't the Dark Tower, and I ain't Idris Elba. Unless you're that attractive, naive female foreign exchange student who thinks I look like Idris Elba, then yeah, I might be. Clearly, I've thought about this a lot. And if I had to choose, I'd have to go with the 14.5-inch AR-15 suppressed with the variable-powered optic. It's, to me, the most versatile package. 223 and 5.56 is plentiful in America. I can shoot out to 500 yards easily with it. It's short enough that if I had to fight with it in close quarters, I can do so without the rifle being too unwieldy. If I happen to have night vision, I can throw a D-ball on it and move around at night. Sure, I'm a little biased and the AR is my favorite platform, but as far as I can assess, a 14.5 suppressed AR-15 with a variable-powered optic makes the most sense to me. I do have to give Rick some credit. At least he's actually using a gun. Daryl has spent the last 8 seasons running around the end of the world with a freaking crossbow. I never understood this. Every time I see him with that damn crossbow, with no sights, mind you, I want to reach into the television and punch him in the face and then hand him an AR. Hell, even Michonne's never dull samurai sword makes more sense. But Daryl and this crossbow just confuses me. Honestly, I'd never really shot a crossbow. So maybe there's something to it that I'm not seeing. I had to figure it out, so I stole a crossbow from our sponsors over at Raven Crossbow and tried to figure out what Daryl knew that I didn't, and if I'd carry it in an end-of-world situation. Off the top, and this point has no bearing on utility or usefulness, but I wouldn't be Colion Noir if I didn't point this out. This crossbow looks sick. It's like an AR and compound bow had a baby. The sexiest view of this thing is top down. It kind of reminds me of Star Trek's USS Enterprise. But it being pretty to look at ain't saving my life. However, it does have something going for it functionally. It's quiet. Even with the suppressor, guns can be pretty loud, and during an end-of-world scenario, stealth is just as important, if not more important, than brute strength or firepower. However, in the case of zombies, they're drawn to noise. So if I'm dealing with that type of scenario, the silence of the bow is gonna be a benefit. The crossbow is probably the closest thing to an unlimited supply of projectiles as you can come to. Sure, I could lose an arrow, damage it beyond repair, but if I'm careful, I can keep shooting over and over and over again. I can practice as much as I want without having to worry about a dwindling supply. Like a handgun, the Raven crossbow is really light. So if I had to hump this thing for a long period of time, I don't really foresee myself getting overwhelmingly tired. It's also pretty damn accurate out to 100 yards, and I can practically kill just about anything with it if I needed to from a protection and hunting standpoint. At the end of the day, there are more strengths than there are weaknesses going with the crossbow. From a hunting perspective, it's super practical. The stealth aspect alone is something you just can't achieve with a rifle, even while suppressed. But in post-apocalyptic settings, Daryl can run around and look as cool as he wants with a crossbow, and he looks cool as hell. But I'm not as confident with the platform as he is. He's obviously been hunting for decades with one, and his skills show it. However, if I was stranded on a desert island with no resources except for what was on the island, the crossbow makes an excellent case for itself. It's a bit creepy how fun this thing is to shoot. There's like a childlike pleasure that overwhelms me every time I shoot it. I'm clearly a gun guy, but damn it, I really enjoy shooting this crossbow. It's so similar yet so different than what I'm used to that it feels like I'm being exposed to a whole new world of shooting. I still think Daryl running around the zombie apocalypse with one is questionable. But after using a crossbow, if I had to choose between Rick's Colt Python and this crossbow, I don't think my decision would be as easy as it once was.
What's your handgun brand of choice?
My handgun brand of choice? I'm not actually in the position of only having to choose one brand. I like so many different brands for so many different reasons.
So, okay, the end of the world happens, and you have to grab one.
Glock 19 or 17.
End of the world, but you have no idea what's going on. It could be just a volcano or something.
Glock 19 or 17.
End of the world and it's zombies, and you know it's zombies.
Glock 19 or 17. It's the gun that I'm most familiar with. It's the gun that I know will run. One of the good things about the Glock 19-17, if I'm in the world scenario, I know there are gonna be tons of other people who are running 17s or 19s, and the magazines are interchangeable. Actually, I think it would be a Glock 19 for sure. I can use Glock 17 mags, Glock 19 mags. But if I really wanted to get technical, it should be the Glock 26, because I can use all those magazines in a Glock 26.
That makes a lot of sense now. Yeah.
Man, whatever, dude. I'm here with Buck Doyle in Utah. I trained with him earlier this year in Texas, and now we're shooting in a 180-degree CQB environment. Close quarter training is so unique in that you're engaging your targets at a very short range, so you better bring your warrior mindset.
All right. You got any more ammo?
Nope.
You all done?
Yeah.
All right, good to go?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a CQB. So in this scenario right here, this is one stage, this is CQB
Gotcha,
stage. And
okay.
once we pass that tree, we go into a more open environment.
Gotcha.
Your carbine setup is set up to be optimal in both environments.
Okay.
All right, here we go. There's your route. Okay, you'll have a point of domination, which is a tree right in front of you. That's home base. All right, shooter ready?
Ready.
Assault. Now you're searching and assessing near, far, the whole time. Near, far, and scanning. Up, another target.
Shit,
boom,
did not
boom.
see them.
And so, no, exactly. So here, where's the bad guy gonna be? Or where would you be? I'm gonna be in dead space or hiding.
Yeah.
So when we search, we go from left to right. Now, you can shoot on the move if you want, but me personally, I'm moving, target, place, set, boom, 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 feedback I want, on safe, and I continue. Search and assess. Moving to the tree, come in here, and this is where you can pop up in that 1 to 8. But then I wanted to come in close and come to here and finish your clear.
Okay.
Outstanding. Push forward. There you go. Good job, brother. Good job. Questions?
Not so much questions as just kind of statements, things that I noticed.
Okay.
For me, you pointed out something, you were like, don't get sucked in, don't get sucked in.
Don't get sucked in. Stay on the outside.
And that was actually what happened. You know, I get hyper-focused. I'm so used to either shooting still, and once I get the auditory feedback, I'm good. So having to deal with that definitely in a weird way, slowed me down, forced me to slow down.
Sure.
And really be methodical about the way I did.
Okay, so situational awareness, we talk about it all the time. It's kind of one of those sayings people talk about, but how do you really train and include situational awareness, you know, with that equal standing? This is how you do it, okay? Point of domination, that's the mission, get there. Not getting sucked in is part of that mission. So if I move, shooting on a move, I can do that, or stop, plant, engage, to get back on my route. Go and stop, engage, get back.
I will say, I think I'm still walking that way, but since I'm shooting this way, I don't realize.
And all that is practice. Yeah. You know, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. It's natural, everyone does it. And the only way you can mitigate doing that is to focus on situational awareness, so on and so forth.
Do you ever get to a point where you essentially get used to being shot at?
Yes, and that's not a good thing.
Gotcha.
What's going on? I'm getting hammered. Okay, a gun's good. I'm all by myself. What's the rest of my team? Okay, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna wait for a lull, and then I'm gonna start looking around, see what this guy's all about. And hopefully I can shoot him. You see what I'm getting at? When do we train like that? You don't.
Never.
So when it happens, what happens? We panic.
What were some of the things that you saw that people would do that made them adaptable and able to kind of deal in these environments?
It was part of their culture. I mean, a hostile environment was part of life. Some cultures had taken precautions to deal with that threat or challenge, and some didn't.
But again, if you're walking, corner right there, someone, dark up, AK, yeah, it's on. Matter of fact, I'm coming through. I gotta win this fight, okay? That's gunfighting.
There was a strong family bond to survive. If bad people are coming around, they reacted, okay, we're getting out of here.
Gotcha.
They were gonna do a protest. They just knew, okay, we're gonna take decisive action to either deal with this threat or get away.
When we box, we don't box like this. We come up and bring it down, just like so.
When you do go to those different countries and whatnot, they'll laugh or smile during conversations like, you guys are really complaining about this or that. And here they are just trying to make sure they got the meal for the next day, or the 3 head of cattle they have or sheep they have, are they gonna survive, you know, through the next season? It's just, you know, simple things of life and survival, you know.
Yeah. My only hope is that there are enough of us that understand that and put ourselves in a position to be ready to deal with that reality. Even if it's not you running around actually carrying a gun and doing these things, but just understanding that reality can and it will happen.
No, it will. It will. I mean, I've seen countries flip in a week or two. And it's amazing, like, wow, we were just down here walking, and now we got to go down there with up-armored vehicles and be alert, you know?
Yeah.
Things can happen, and we've seen it in our cities when things get out of hand and everyone's asking why. No. What are you gonna do right now to keep yourself safe and the ones you love safe at that particular moment?
Yeah.
I hear a bump in the kitchen. Hold on, honey. I ain't going out there. It's 911. Stay in the room, get in the corner. Fatal funnel. Whew. This is gonna suck for him.
What's up, guys? Colion Noir here. If you've been following Noir this season, you've probably noticed we've started doing things a little differently by bringing you constant footage for my show. Now we're changing it up again. But don't worry, I'm not changing any of the stuff you've come to love about Noir. We're adding more. Because this season on Noir, I'm bringing my friend Dom Raso into the fray. You probably know the Crush Everything veteran SEAL from his many NRA TV shows, appearances, and also from those badass slow motion videos. I'm excited to let you know he'll be showcasing a lot more of those and doing it this season on Noir. You see, Dom is joining Noir to bring you the very best of his attitude in action. He'll cover the best in self-defense and explain every angle of potential attack scenarios, like getting into your car or being held up by a gunman at ATM. In short, Dom's gonna break down every detail of what he do to defend himself. And you can watch it all, the overviews and the interviews, and of course the badass slow motion videos. And just like with everything else we've been doing this season on Noir, you won't have to wait. It'll be ready on demand on NRATV.com and on social media. So without further ado, here's the first installment of the Dom Showcase.
do this. Eyes and ears.
Ready, Dom?
Dom moves.
Action!
Threat! Camera moves. Action!
Every skill and every move we decide to break down needs context. The scenario is always going to drive what actions you decide to take. When we're shooting at our 6 and shooting to the rear, there's 3 things to think about: violence of action, keeping a low profile, and covering fire. Those 3 things are going to be a game changer when you're actually presented with threats in your environment. So one of the principles of what we're talking about now is the violence of action that we need in certain situations out in a threat dynamic. If somebody comes in an environment with a gun already drawn, saying not to move, I don't want to be the guy that attracts the attention to me, especially if I'm trying to get ahead of the power curve, to be the guy that does need to deploy a firearm and to be able to mitigate that threat. The quickest way for me to get around behind me with violence of action is just to draw and shoot. And again, it all comes back to context. We can sit here and what if things all day, but at the end of the day, what we are focusing on is gaining the advantage by violence of action. If I need to keep a low profile and not draw attention to myself, I want to be as submissive as possible while keeping my situational awareness to the rear. What I don't want to do, because we're all predators, is I don't want to turn my shoulders towards where they are. The depth perception doesn't pick up on that forward and back movement as much as it does if you're moving laterally. They're not going to see this. They see left and right really well, but what we don't see really well is forward and back. And as I'm thinking about these moves, I'm keeping an eye on what's happening with the threat. The A+ answer is always going to be putting shots where I want them. I want to be accountable for every single round that comes out of that gun. But there's also a cover, especially in warfare, that you guys should be well aware of, and that's covering fire. Covering fire allows me to keep the bad guy's head down, keep them moving, and keep them in an unstable shooting platform. So for this scenario, if I have 3 or multiple attackers closing the distance extremely fast, the quickest way for me to get a round off is to draw right from here and go immediately down and start orienting towards the threat that I'm going to be shooting at. I can tell you right now, threats in that dynamic do not stay still. Once rounds are moving, they're trying to figure out how to shift in their environment. There's never going to be a perfect environment, and it's never going to go exactly the way you think it's going to. That's why we train so much. So think about that context and think about how it adds up to what could happen to you. It's just a principle that you need to understand, is not showing them when you're going to move, keeping a low profile, and having violence of action with covering fire or accurate shots. It all depends on the scenario.
Eyes and ears. Okay. All good. Ready. Camera rolls. Camera moves. Action!
To be able to break moves down in high-speed film at 1,000 frames per second is extremely valuable. We're gonna break these details down one by one. First and foremost, no matter what you're doing in any environment, prepping your mind and programming to be able to think the right way and having a good mindset is key. I'm thinking about those 3 things: keeping a low profile, having violence of action, and speed. The first physical motion that I'm making is using my peripheral vision to identify target proximity and location. The next thing that I'm going to do is thinking through where my hands are placed depending on the situation. I need to be thinking about mental reps of what my hands are going to do to access my pistol. The next thing that I'm doing is 2-hand material manipulation to clear my shirt out of the way in order to access my pistol with a master grip. I want the web of my hand as high up on the pistol as I can possibly get it. The second the pistol breaks the holster, I'm trying to get my eye line and my front sight towards the target as quick as possible. Once I start my upward draw, I'm already prepping my left hand to come in and support my dominant hand. As I prep my lead hand, I'm using my index finger on my left hand to reference the trigger well to get a 2-handed grip. Once I've established a 2-handed grip and I have an extremely stable shooting platform, I can then reposition my feet to move if necessary.
Remember, this full Dom segment, along with other behind-the-scenes content, is available on NRATV.com, and we'll be releasing new segments every week this season, so be sure to check them out. And now, before we end, I want to leave you with a little taste of what to expect from this season's Noir Team Challenge. Enjoy.
Before you go, I want to tell you about the new online store, shop MrColionNoir.com. Here you can grab your favorite pieces from the Pew Pew Life, Amosexual, and the new Colion Noir line. You guys have been asking for the CN logo hats for a while now, and now they're here. I'm also really excited about the line of tumblers and water bottles that I've added to the store as well. Now you can show your pride for the lifestyle we all love and stay hydrated all at the same time. So click the first link in the description box and grab your gear today. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button.